Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Gitasha Sharma. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Tuesday, the 5th of July. Prime Minister Modi expands Cabinet of Ministers, appoints 19 new faces. Pakistan national identified as suicide bomber near US consulate in Saudi Arabia. And devotees attend death anniversary of a Sufi saint in India's northern Srinagar. And now for all the details. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday expanded his Union Council of Ministers with 19 new ministers, while 5 have been relieved of their service. He urged the newly inducted members to work towards transforming India.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi expanded his cabinet in a bid to improve efficiency of the two-year-old administration. President Pranab Mukherjee administered the oath of office to the new ministers held in the national capital, New Delhi, on Tuesday. 19 new ministers were inducted, while the junior Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar was promoted to the cabinet. This is the second cabinet expansion by Prime Minister Modi after completing 2 years in the office. The step is seen as politically crucial in the run-up to the provincial polls in northern Uttar Pradesh province scheduled early next year.
Saudi Arabia's Interior Ministry has stated that the suicide bombing near the United States consulate in Jeddah on Monday was carried out by a Pakistani national. According to reports, the suicide bomber was identified as 35-year-old Abdullah Kalzar Khan, who was a driver by profession and had been living with his family in Jeddah for 12 years. The Saudi police on Monday had suspected a man roaming around in a parking lot of a major hospital. When the security personnel tried to nab him, he detonated the belt. The belt, however, did not explode completely, and hence the police was able to identify the bomber. 2 Saudi security officers were wounded in the attack. The terror site was near United States diplomatic mission in the city. The Jeddah attack was among the wave of 3 suicide bombings Saudi Arabia witnessed in its major cities, including Medina, within 24 hours. In a display of short-sightedness and poor planning, authorities in a tribal region of northwestern Pakistan have decided to close down nearly 500 schools. The step poses a threat to the future of the youth in the region.
The move to shut down nearly 500 schools in Pakistan's federally administered tribal areas, or FATA, comes after what is being called a rationalization plan. Instead of dealing with the problem of low enrollment rates and the use of schools for purposes other than that of imparting education, the step to shut down schools altogether is being seen as indecisive. The rationalization is being deemed as a failed plan due to the inability of authorities to rationalize the everyday realities of life in FATA. The students of the now closed schools have been moved to nearest schools in their areas, a move which is more likely to make students forego education due to poor infrastructure, difficult terrain and tribal rivalries. Female students would be the worst affected, with many of them either not being able to reach school because of lack of accessibility or social constraints. The people of FATA, who are amongst the worst victims of terrorism and have faced much discrimination at the hands of the state, need more schools, colleges and development opportunities.
Staying on news from Pakistan, the recent flash floods in Pakistan northwestern Chitral and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province have left destruction across the district. Several houses and other buildings were extensively damaged after incessant rain caused by flash floods early on Sunday. People suffered great amount of distress due to loss of life and property. At least 30 people have been reportedly killed. According to reports, some were even swept away while praying at a mosque during the holy month of Ramadan. Around a dozen of people are still missing in the district. The remote villages are completely cut off due to damaged road connectivity, causing hindrance in the rescue operations.
मैं तो अपने घर में मौजूद था, लेकिन हालात ख़राब होने के बावजूद मैं घर से नहीं निकल सका। तो इसलिए जब सैलाब ऊपर से रवाना हुआ तो बहुत ज़्यादा और घर बगर सारे बहुत ज़्यादा नुकसानात हुआ।
Solidarity continues to pour in for the victims of the Dhaka terror attacks, as large number of Bangladeshi citizens came out on the streets in capital Dhaka to protest against the deadly terror attack. 20 people, mostly foreigners, were slaughtered in the carnage.
Members of civil society and social activists gathered in the streets of Dhaka to pay their respects to the victims of the last week deadly attack in the Holy Artisan Cafe in the diplomatic area of the city. Activists held placards in different languages to remember the nationalities of the victims killed in the attack on the restaurant where foreigners visited frequently. Citizens belonging to India, Japan, Italy and the United States were among the victims of the attack when 7 gunmen stormed into the cafe on Friday.
The people who did it in the name of so-called religion, it is not religion as we see it, because religion cannot be something that talks about killing. It cannot be an act of the kind of terrorism that is happening. This is terrorism, this is murder, this is mass murder. That is all, and we demand and want that this kind of heinous acts be stopped immediately.
The Dhaka terror attack is said to be one of the deadliest militant attacks the South Asian country has witnessed in recent time. Despite the Islamic State claiming responsibility for the attack, the Bangladesh government believes that the attack was carried out by homegrown terrorists and suspects Pakistan Inter-Service Intelligence or the ISI responsible for the 13-hour-long siege. Bangladesh Information Minister Hasanul Haq Inu on Monday alleged that the ISI had trained up to 8,000 Bangladeshis in the last 2 years and sent them back to launch a violent campaign to avenge their defeat during 1971 Liberation War and to topple the Sheikh Hasina-led government.
New Zealand has decided to extend the tenure of its defense personnel in Afghanistan to train Afghan security forces and combat terrorism. The decision comes a day after United States senators on a visit to Kabul warned against withdrawing of troops from the war-torn country.
The New Zealand government on Tuesday announced that its defence force trainers will continue to stay in Afghanistan till June 2018, with the government committing several more staff to the mission. As allies to NATO, New Zealand Defence Forces have been training and assisting Afghan security forces since 2013. This comes a day after a delegation of United States senators visiting Kabul had warned that the international military mission in Afghanistan will fail if the level of troops are reduced further.
We believe strongly that we need 9,800 here, and further reductions would then cause a replay of the Iraq nightmare that was caused when we totally withdrew from Iraq, which created Al-Qaeda, which then created ISIS. So we have strongly supported the President's decision, and we think that decision should be sooner rather than later, to maintain a strength of U.S. forces of 9,800 here, and that decision should be condition-based, not calendars-based.
The delegation also stated that steps should be taken to uproot the terror group Haqqani network, adding that it and other terrorist groups using Pakistan as a safe haven should be eliminated.
Kashmir Valley in India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province is also called the Valley of Saints. It is dotted with the shrines of Sufi saints who preached oneness among the people.
Kashmir Valley, besides being called as a paradise on earth, also houses shrines of various Sufi saints. The spirituality and simple way of life of saints attracted people of different faiths who embraced their teachings, besides holding them in high regard. The annual Urs or death anniversary of Sufi saint Hazrat Sayyid Mansoor Sahib was recently observed in Srinagar city, where large number of devotees gathered at his shrine to pay homage to him.
हम हर साल यहाँ ये मजलिस मुनक़िद करते हैं जिन पर लोग आते हैं। इसके बगैर भी ये एक बहुत बड़ा मरकज़ी जगह है, ये बहुत बड़ी मरकज़ी जगह है, ये बहुत बड़ा मरकज़ है।
Dates and other sweet meats were distributed among the devotees as part of the rituals. The shrine serves as a binding force to bring people belonging to different communities together and embrace oneness.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude, the top stories once again. Prime Minister Modi expands cabinet of ministers, appoints 19 new faces. Pakistan national identified as suicide bomber near US consulate in Saudi Arabia. And devotees attend death anniversary of a Sufi saint in India's northern Srinagar. Now, our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.